are the heartbeat of America.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. I want to speak to you about the death and aftermath of George Floyd. I know that there's a lot of people angry and upset, and justifiably so. But once you have people protesting out of anger, demanding justice, you have an awful lot of extra people hop on that bandwagon that were looking for any excuse to destroy something. They couldn't just go out there and destroy stuff for no reason. No, they're not going to do that. But they will wait until something like this rears its ugly head up. And they will hop on it and they will start destroying everything. And I once wrote just a couple days ago in a Facebook post, I put that it doesn't matter why things are destroyed. It doesn't matter what caused the destruction. All that matters is that people will remember the things that were destroyed. That's all they're going to remember. So whatever reason people started protesting, all that's going to be remembered is the people who hopped on the bandwagon and destroyed things and burned things to the ground. Not only are you hurting, well, actually, the only people you're really hurting is innocent people. People that had absolutely nothing to do with George Floyd's murder. Am I angry? Yes, I am angry about that. People should not murder another person just because. Whether it be accidental or not. It doesn't matter why it was done. It doesn't matter why George Floyd was murdered. The officer needs to say, yes, I did it. He needs to admit that he did it. The reasoning behind him doing it doesn't matter. You can sort that out later. If he had anger issues, if he had mental distress, or whatever the reason was that caused him to do this, it does not matter. What matters is that George Floyd was murdered. And the police officers that were involved, they need to take responsibility for that instead of finding an excuse or blaming something else. Just like in the Garden of Eden, God put Adam in charge of the garden. God told Adam that there was a particular tree that he was not allowed to eat from, nor was Eve. Satan knew this. He knew that he couldn't go directly to Adam. So what did he do? He went into the body of a serpent. And the body of the serpent tempted Eve into eating the apple or the tree or whatever the fruit was, the knowledge. And she went to Adam and tempted Adam. And he partook of the fruit of the tree of good and knowledge. And when God asked Adam what was going on, God already knew. He wanted to make sure that Adam understood that what he did was wrong. God already knew what he had done, but he wanted Adam to admit it. And Adam said, instead of saying, I did something horrible, I went against your will, and I did a bad thing, he said, it was that woman you gave me. She tempted me. And Eve said, it was that serpent. He beguiled me, and the serpent said it was Satan that got inside me and caused me to do it. So all of them blamed somebody else instead of taking responsibility for what they did. The police officers that killed George Floyd need to be honest and say, yes, I did it. Take responsibility for it. Yes, I did it. It doesn't matter why you did it. All that matters is you did it. If I was on trial for murder and they said I was going to get the death penalty, I would stand before the judge and say, Your Honor, what happened was wrong, and I did it. Nobody else grabbed my hand and forced me. I did this. And then we can go from there. We can figure out why it was done. But ultimately, you have to take responsibility for what you are doing. And nobody has done that. The rioters that came out and well, I'm not going to say the rioters, the protesters, let me clarify, the protesters who were upset and angry with George Floyd getting murdered also stems from other people getting murdered. There were countless in the news, and the police never, ever get found guilty unless the city needs an example. They need a goat. They need to throw somebody under the bus. Then they will. You had Ferguson, Missouri. You had the kid that was down in Florida. George Zimmerman killed him. You had, the list goes on. Rodney King, the police were beating on him almost to death, to the point where the police were just happy. I mean, they were laughing and just joking around as they were beating the tar out of him. And then when it come time for him to get his money settled from the city, what happens? He ends up face down in a pool in the backyard. And the city didn't have to pay out a dime. The city got to keep all their money. When you have racism brought in, and this is another thing I don't understand. Speaking of racism, how can white folks that were too lazy to mow their own yard and pick their own cotton and field their own vegetables, how could they be angry at black folks for being here when they were the ones that brought them here in the first place? It's like you can't use them for anything now, so you just don't want them to be here. I mean, for every aspect of America that has become better and that has grown and matured, there is a whole crap load of America that still believes in white power. Elitist. Even the poor white folk, I'm not saying all of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all of white America is like this. There are some white Americans that are really good and that are very careful in what they do and how they treat folks because they like to treat folks the way they want to be treated. And you have black folks that are the same way. You have Mexicans that are the same way. You've got good people in all races that live in America. But you also have a lot of white folks that say stupid things off the cuff. They say and do stupid stuff. They are very racist at heart and they will not admit to it because of the fact that they've had to play nice all this time and now they have a choice to do right or wrong and they choose to do wrong. But they don't see it as wrong. They don't see it as bad. They see it as normal things to do. I was watching a movie a while back called 42, the Jackie Robinson story. And there's a spot in the movie where a kid is with his dad, and the dad and various other grown-ups started chanting racial things toward Jackie Robinson. Get off the field, you shouldn't be here, blah, blah, blah. So now the kid is in turmoil. He doesn't understand what to do. And then all of a sudden, he starts chanting racial stuff to Jackie Robinson because his dad was and everybody else around him was. But he felt conflicted about it at first. And then he just figured that's the way things were, so he started doing them. Well, it doesn't matter if that's the way things are. We have a conscience and a brain, and 99.9% of us are reasonably thinkers. We have the ability to decide whether it's right or wrong. Another movie I watched just recently, in the movie, Cary Grant said something that makes a lot of sense, and I can use it here. He said, when it comes to women, when you're 18 and under, you're protected by law. When you're 65 and over, you're protected by nature. Anything in between, you're on your own, which is true. When we are young, we can hide behind the law. When we are older, we can hide behind Mother Nature. In between that, we have to take responsibility for the things we do. Good or bad, we have to take responsibility for them. Now, I didn't want this video to get out of hand, which it did. And it's kind of a rant video, and I hate those. I hate people ranting on the internet because it's maybe fun to watch, but it ain't really fun to hear. So I'm going to let that go at that. And I'm going to say this. Remember, we are all in this together. Instead of arguing over who put the hole in the boat, let's figure out how to fix the hole so the boat doesn't sink. Also, let's try to make America better tomorrow than it was yesterday by doing the very best we can today. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's all I ask. If you like being treated like shit, pardon my language, if you like being treated like crap and you like being lied to and stolen from, if you like all of that, then fine. Go ahead and treat somebody else like that because you're being true to your nature. But I don't. When I was younger, I made a lot of mistakes. Yes. I did some things that I shouldn't have. Yes, I did. I was very fortunate that I didn't have to pay a very high price for those, but I was also blessed with the ability to understand that what I did was wrong and that it hurt people. And when I can, I try to make it right with anybody that I have done wrong to in the past. Now, I am much older. I'm 53. I'll be 54 in June. But I'm 53 years old, and I have been able to come to the realization that people are people. And some have really good stories that can benefit me. And when I hurt somebody, I'm ultimately hurting myself. When I do wrong to somebody, I'm ultimately doing wrong to myself because I am robbing myself of the possible friendship that I could have gotten from that person. I am robbing myself from the knowledge that they could have given me. I am robbing myself of the pleasantness that they could bring to the people and the surroundings around me. So, having said that, I'm going to let you go. If you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up. If you want, please subscribe. If you have any comments you'd like to leave, I would hope that they would be good. I would hope that they would not be anything anything derogatory, but if they are, please keep them decent at least. You have your opinion, and I appreciate that. And I will stand behind your opinion. I will also respond to you, whether it be positive or negative. But just remember that if you are trying to start something, I will block you. I will censor you. Yes, censorship is wrong. But if you are out there just trying to start trouble, you will be shut down. Having said that, I'm going to let you go. Have a good night, America, and all points beyond.